Okay. Welcome back to the Pitch Podcast. My name is Eric Wilbenaw, the president of the Baseball Bluebook, and today we are joined with Omar Almodovar with Elite Recruits in Miami, Florida. How are you today?
Doing great. Thank you for having me. Excited to get to it.
Well, I'm excited to talk with you. Lots of things happening in South Florida, and Elite Recruits is a name that a lot of people are starting to hear about. But before we begin, I want to encourage everyone, make sure that you're subscribing to the channel, no matter if you're listening and watching this on YouTube or listening to on your favorite audio podcast player. We appreciate you joining us. Each episode on The Pitch features industry leaders, innovators, and trailblazers who are making a difference in the world of baseball and beyond. Our mission here at the Baseball Bluebook is to highlight innovative ideas, share success stories, and explore the challenges and opportunities facing entrepreneurs in the baseball industry. Omar and we've got a chance to get to know each other a little bit and getting to know his business. I thought it would be a great opportunity to get him on the program so he can share a little bit about building a recruiting business, specifically helping the JUCO programs, the players, finding the next playing opportunity. And there's a whole lot that goes along with recruiting. So, Omar, we're excited to talk to you, hear a little bit about your story. So why don't you go ahead? The very first piece of this, the first couple minutes, is your pitch. So tell us, like you're talking to an investor or to a customer, what is elite recruits? And so the floor is yours.
Our mission is to help guys, fill in the gap between their talent and the attention that they're getting. Obviously, the recruiting process has changed quite a bit. With all the new rules year after year, it seems like things are shifting all the time. And with that, there's a lot of missing information that the athletes simply just don't know. It's almost surreal, but every day I'm starting to get on the phone with guys, and talent is there. Is just simply they don't know how to go about things. They don't know how to get started. So my goal is, one, promoting players and their abilities, but also to educate them on how to go about the recruiting process. Unfortunately, nowadays the recruiting process is something that guys go through more than once, for the majority of time. So the more you learn about it, the better you can, end up getting to a good place and getting a good scholarship.
That's great. Can you share with us what was the inspiration behind you starting this business and what motivated you to pursue this venture?
Yeah. So I came here from the Dominican Republic when I was 9 years old. Have a little brother with disability, so my family didn't know too much about, or didn't know anything at all, for that matter, about the recruiting process. So it was always me being proactive. I was always a decent player. I wasn't a first round draft pick, but everything that I got, I had to earn, and I had to get myself out there. So I've always been very proactive in my own recruitment, and even during junior college. I had a young coach who was his first year, and great coach, great guy. He was limited in his connections, of course, so I really had to, and this was during the pandemic, so a lot of craziness. I really took it upon myself to learn the process. I helped myself out. I ended up going to Savannah State after junior college, and then after Savannah State, ended up going to High Point, in North Carolina. But during the time in junior college is when everything shifted over from coaches going in person to seeing guys to a little bit more of what you see now with Twitter promotion and a lot of social media stuff. So I helped myself during that time, but I also helped a lot of my teammates get their name out there, learn how to, even from editing their videos to posting it and how to reach out to a coach. I feel like that's something that's missing, and I'm really passionate about it. And being in a position now where I just recently finished my career and being able to, it's a blessing. Honestly, a lot of people see it, it's like, oh, how can you have connections? You're so young. How do you know what you're doing? The truth is, I'm learning every day and I'm getting better and better every single day. And I plan on doing that for a long time. But it's so surreal seeing guys whose shoes I was just in, and getting to make a direct impact in their lives and in their career. It's amazing.
I think that's great. One of the things that I find in the world of baseball, and then the bridge to business, is baseball players have to learn very early how to promote themselves, to sell themselves, and they learn how to fail. and they learn how to succeed after failure. I want you to kind of talk about
Mhm.
what the lessons that you've learned through your career in baseball, how that translates over to the business and building the business that you have today. Because it certainly doesn't come without
Yeah.
failure, right? It's not just put on a new hat and start promoting what you do. Talk about kind of some of those lessons.
Yeah. So, as we all know, baseball is a game of failure. You succeed 3 out of 10 times, so you fail 70% of the time when you get into the Hall of Fame. Business is the same way. I honestly think of it as an even harder sport, and even sport that you have to go all in. The biggest lesson that I've ever learned, and I'll take this to the grave with me, is separating yourself from the outcome. And what I mean by that, you can't control the result. So you can't control yourself getting a hit. You can't control, a lot of things in business. But what you can control is your inputs, right? So separating yourself from the outcome, which is the result, and going all in on the input, and the input being stuff that you can control. So in baseball, putting in the work like everyone does, but then the little things, sleep, recovery, nutrition, grades, all that other stuff. In business is putting in the input. Right now, fully transparent, I'm working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, every single day. And I don't see myself stopping anytime soon, but I love it because I'm fully into it, and I'm separating myself from the outcome. I'm just controlling what I can control, and that's all I'm doing, and it's working well so far.
What wisdom comes from a young man? I think any business owner at whatever age needs to listen to what Omar just said, because that's exactly right. You know, separating yourself from that outcome, focusing on the things that you can control. And from a business perspective, you also said this is like the biggest game, right? This is the biggest sport, and it's business,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
got the same, it's got rules, it's got different things. You got to figure those things out. So, what are some of the in your early business career? What are some of the biggest challenges that you faced, and how have you overcome them?
Yeah. So I'm a perfectionist. I have a vision, and I want to see that vision through. As I'm starting to scale, it's about finding the right people to bring on board with the team. This is something that I'm really passionate about. And even though it's early on, I've spent tons of, sleepless nights working on it. And it's really hard for me to find people to trust and bring in. I'm very blessed that I have a really good team behind me. And as we continue to grow, it's just, finding the right people that are. I'm never gonna find somebody that's as all in as I am, because it is my company, and I had the idea and I'm doing everything. But finding people whose values I can share, and yeah, honestly, just finding people that you can trust and being able to trust them with tasks. I like to do everything myself because I like it done the right way. But I'm starting to learn that in order to continue to grow, you have to have a strong support system. So that's what I'm focused on now.
That's great. Being able to hand things off to other people. The other thing that's so important, I hear business owners talk about it all the time, is the vision and the mission of the business. And it's one of those things that you learn in business
Mhm.
school, or people say you need to have a mission statement. But really, what that does, Omar, and you can contest to this, it helps you kind of weed through the people that you bring on to your business. If they don't match that mission and your vision, it's a pretty easy way of kind of going a different direction and finding somebody else that can. So I appreciate you sharing that, having that vision, finding people that you can trust. What does success look like for you and your brand and the company overall?
So there's a lot of goals that you can put down and write success. To me, success is the text messages that I get from guys this time of year, almost every day now. Thank God, of them committing to schools and getting really big offers. That to me is everything. Just being able to play, and I'm getting goosebumps right now. But just being able to play a small role into their success, and knowing that I'm helping guys get life changing financial opportunities for their family, life changing, career opportunities for them. It's really surreal, and almost a full circle moment because it's something that I wish I had when I was playing. I did have great people and great coaches supporting me, but something hands on like this is something I wish I had. I know there's a lot of people in the industry and a lot of people doing this. To me, it's just about doing it the right way, right? Like, sure, I can't work for free. There's money behind it, but it's about doing things the right way. Because at the end of the day, it's not about me. My playing career is over. It's not about you. It's not about the coach. It's about the player, and that's what it is about for me.
I think that's great. In your opinion, okay, being young, you kind of went through it yourself. Now you're running this business. In your opinion, what are some emerging trends or opportunities that you see? Because a lot of things are changing. From every day, things are changing. What are some of the emerging trends and opportunities that you're seeing that's shaping the future of the baseball industry? And how are you positioning yourself to capitalize on that?
Yeah, great question. Obviously everybody knows transfer portal and NIL, all the craziness going on. Honestly, the biggest trend that I see, and I don't like to follow trends. I want to set the standard, right? I don't want to
Yep.
follow a trend that's going to be around for 6 months. I want to build a system and I want to build a standard for my company and not be a trend, but do that for the next 10, 20, 30 years, whatever God has in store and whatever the outcome comes. I'm not worried about it. I'm focusing on the inputs like we talked about. Whatever that may be down the line, it is. But I'm not following trends. I'm focused on building a strong foundation. And as it has been already in its early days, it's progressed to a lot of different things for me. So like the podcast, I'm able to get a lot of high quality individuals that I've been fortunate enough to train with and have shaped my career in some sort of way. Getting them on to share their journey and give back to athletes is something that's huge for me. The summer ball team, the Boca Beach Boys, is something I had no idea that was going to happen or anything like that. And that's something that I'm very excited about. But to answer your question directly, the biggest trend I would say and what I am focusing on next is the education part of things. Like we mentioned at the very beginning, a lot of guys right now, they have the skill, they have the grades, they just don't know how to go about the recruiting process. So for me, I don't feel like there's enough education and learning out there. And that's something that I want to be able to provide. And obviously it has its challenges still being early on and working with clients directly and helping them and growing the business. But that's something that's at the very forefront. And we're working really hard behind the scenes to put some good stuff out for guys.
I appreciate it. We are on the Pitch Podcast. My name is Eric Wolbanaw, the president of the Baseball Bluebook. We're on with Omar Almodovar with the Elite Recruits, Miami, Florida. Omar, the last question. How can people get in touch with you? You've talked about podcasts, also your relationship with the Baseball Bluebook. Talk about where people can get a hold of you if they would like to talk with you and kind of find out what you're all about.
Absolutely. So on Twitter, Elite Recruits _, on Instagram, Elite Recruits Baseball, and you very soon can find us on the Baseball Bluebook app.
Perfect. Omar, always a pleasure talking with you. Excited to see where you go, what you're doing. It's great to see young guys that embrace this after the career, taking a lot of the advice that you've learned. I'll tell you what, that was really, really good. Great advice from Omar. Man, it's super excited to see how far you can go. Thank you very much. You have a great day.
Thank you. Appreciate you.